Hey, hmm, interesting. All right, we're ready to get started. So, I don't think I need to put any more into this outline. I think this outline's pretty much good to go. So we're going to review it. I was reading over a little bit, but we'll review it one more time. But I think this outline probably will be finished today, which means the next time I stream this, we'll start on the actual narrative. Let's take a look. So what do we have? So we have the cost of service. What furniture are in Umineko? Furniture as people. Why the Ushiromiya family treats furniture as less. The psychological cost of being furniture. How furniture still express humanity. Okay. Why furniture matter to Umineko's core. Yeah, I think we're actually in a good place to start wrapping things up. So, just looking over this, there's one thing I haven't talked about. The acceptance of being labeled furniture. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The acceptance of being labeled furniture. Section 8. Yeah, I like that. Fuck. That's weird. Okay. I guess the perk of seeing this actually live is you get to hear the music. I'm gonna get copyrighted like crazy, but I like listening to soft tones whenever I do my narratives. Let me focus. Accepting the label. Let's. When someone is called furniture. When someone is called furniture. When something is called, someone's called furniture. Let's be a little cheeky. The label reshapes. The label reshapes expectations from others and themselves. Because to the Ushimiyas, they have to conform a certain way. Yeah, both from others and themselves. You know, we're gonna do a little thing I do in my horror videos. It's not external. It's not only external. It's internal. I use that a lot whenever I do my horror lore ones. They're not even lore. They're just projects that I do, tying in horror games and other angles. Kind of like I'm doing here, but not with a horror theme. Okay. So the tragedy, this tragedy, isn't just external. Okie dokie. It's external as well. When someone is called furniture, the label reshapes expectations, both from others and themselves. I like that. What are we gonna do next? Service stops being a job and becomes a literal definition for them. It becomes their livelihood. Because their life is pretty much centered around their usefulness, not their desires. Hmm. Okay. Furniture. 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 Alright. Give me 1 second. Unfortunately, these are too short. It's just throwing me off a little bit. Give me 1 moment. Fuck it. It's a little bit loud. There we go. So, for furniture. Service stops being just a job. The service stops being a job. Service stops being a job. It becomes a definition. Because becomes a definition. I like that. Becomes a definition. Because their life is measured by their usefulness, not their desires. Not their desires. This reinforces the idea. Does it? This reinforces the idea. This reinforces the idea that wanting more. This reinforces the idea that wanting more would go against Ushiromiya household. It's kind of a pushing it a little bit, but I'm pretty sure people get where I'm going out with this angle. Speaking of horror, my next horror one will be about Unreal in horror games. You don't know what Unreal was? Unreal are they're our favorite type of vengeful ghost. The ones that have the long hair covering their eyes. Your grudge archetype. It's gonna be a fun one. But we'll get there when we get there. Because right now we're just focused on this and Type Moon. Which I gotta do tomorrow, so the next time I stream this will be on today's Tuesday? Thursday. So I'm trying to get that Type Moon released by Christmas. This one by New Year's, definitely. And maybe sooner, because this is probably gonna be a short one. Depending if I don't shoot myself in the foot and put myself in a rabbit hole. Because that's probably gonna happen. So for furniture, service stops being a job and becomes a definition. Their life is dictated. No, their life is measured, actually, by their usefulness, not their desires. This reinforces the idea that wanting more would go against the Ushiromiya household. Okay. Alright, what do we want to do now? Wait. Yeah, we can actually carry on that one. So challenging the orders. Risks punishment. Risk, punishment, alienation, or even loss of belonging if you really think about it. Even with their less than human label. Yeah, loss of belonging. This means their obedience is legitimately the only path they have. Yeah. Making obedience the only viable path they have in life. Sort of. Now I'm going to say life. No. Okay. Challenging the orders of the Ushiromiya family runs risks punishment, alienation, or loss of belonging, making obedience feel like the only viable path. I like it. We need one more. Because because they're accepting the label. We'll use Kanon as an example because wait, wait a minute. Oh, I know something. I know what we can do here. Because the longer they accept the label, the longer they accept the label. Yeah, the longer they accept the label, the longer they accept the label, the harder it seems to imagine life outside of it. Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. Okay. So let's see what we got. Accepting the label. Once someone is called furniture, the label reshapes expectations, both from others and themselves. This tragedy isn't just external, it's internal as well. That's why we proofread. I'm not worried about grammatical errors in an outline, but if it was the narrative, yeah, that'd be pretty bad. For furniture, service stops being a job and becomes a definition. Their life is measured by their usefulness, not their desires. This reinforces the idea that wanting more will go against the Ushimiya family household. Okay. Challenging the orders of the Ushimiya family versus punishment, alienation, or loss of belonging, making obedience feel like the only viable path. The longer. Whoops. Why did I read that twice? The longer they accept the label, the harder it becomes to imagine life outside of it. Okay. I think that's good. So let's look at our sections one more time. If I think it's good, we'll move on to the conclusion. This is definitely going to be a short video. Cost of service. What furniture are in Umineko? Furniture as people. Why the Ushimiya family treats furniture as less. The psychological cost of being furniture. Okay. How furniture still express humanity. That's good. Why furniture matter in Umineko's core themes. Okay, that's fine. Accepting the label. I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's fine. I wonder, what more can we do? No, I think this is fine. All right, conclusion. So this means Thursday we'll start the actual narrative. So how do I want to? Oh, I'm gonna do something here. So the servants of Rokinjima. Servants of Rokinjima reflect the world that's based on usefulness, where worth is based off usefulness. Yes. I'm gonna do a take. Umineko presents this as something that's uncomfortably familiar, as people probably know from United States history. We'll say it's a human feeling that is uncomfortably familiar. That feels uncomfortably familiar. Not probably not to the extreme as that. Yeah, not to that extreme. Yeah, yeah, we can do this. The service of Rokenshima reflect a world where worth is based on usefulness. Umineko presents it as a human failing, actually, that feels uncomfortably familiar. That is a take. But the big thing is, regardless of the Ushirimiya family or Beatrice's cronies or Beatrice herself think, there is still some humanity there. Even when reduced to roles, there is a semblance of humanity. No, furniture continues to think, feel, to think, feel, and care. Because Umineko doesn't strip away their humanity. Umineko doesn't really strip away their humanity. It shows how others ignore it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it shows how others ignore it. It shows how easily others ignore it. Yeah. All right. Even when reduced to roles, furniture continues to think, feel, and care. Umineko doesn't strip away their humanity. Yikes, in a sense. It shows how easily others ignore it. Hey, that sounds good. But the problem is, when I first got into Umineko, What bothered me the most about furniture, well, let's have a little power real quick. What bothered me the most was how normalized it felt. Like, it felt really disturbing the way Kenzo would treat them, like all his kids, even Rosa, especially Rosa. Like, it felt really disturbing. Like, it was normalized. Like, it was unsettling, if that makes any sense. I think we can go with that. I wonder what other people feel about it. Okay. The role of the furniture bring up an unsettling aspect of Umineko. Their roles are normal. Well, how should I word this? The way they are treated. And routine. That's really disturbing. Okay, this is good. How long have I been streaming for? 22 minutes? Wow, time flies. But yeah, I think this is actually really good. We should be able to get started with the narrative on Thursday, and my Umineko buddy is ready to kick my ass in casuals, which I'm going to use for background footage, which is going to be funny because I don't use Shannon and Kanon, because Shannon and Kanon in fighting game turns are broken in top tier. Yeah, it's not going to be fun. But at least y'all will see me get blocked for like 10 minutes straight while listening to me talk. He had the nerve to say, okay, I'll humor you. Bitch! Oh, I love it. Alright, let me add my own personal take to this as a closing. Furniture, in my honest opinion, the aspect of uh, furniture are not tragic because they serve. It's because they're taught that serving is the only thing they're allowed to do or allowed to be. Or something along that line. Furniture are not tragic because they serve. Okay. Furniture are not tragic because they serve. But because okay, yeah. But because serving but yeah, but because serving no, but because they are taught serving is all they're allowed to be. Yeah, I like that. That is a take. Furniture I forgot tragic. Wow. Furniture are not tragic because they serve, because they are taught serving is is all they're allowed to be. All right, I'm gonna do a take. Don't kill me, but I'm gonna do a take. Umineko poses this question. How many people, yes, how many people live their entire lives believing the same thing? Yeah, that is a question. Yeah, lives believing the same thing. Okay. All right, so let's just go over everything one more time. Then I'll read that last portion. So, section 1, the cost of service. Section 2, what are furniture in Umineko? Section 3 would be furniture as people. Section 4, why the Ushiromiya family treat furniture as less. Section 5 would be the psychological cost of being furniture. Section 6 would be how furniture still expresses humanity. Section 7 will be furniture, why furniture mattered to Umineko's core themes. Okay. Section 8 is accepting a label, then the closing. So the servants of Jima reflect a world where worth is based on usefulness. Umineko presents it as a human feeling that feels intellectually familiar. Even when reduced to roles, furniture continue to think, feel, and care. Umineko doesn't strip away their humanity in a sense, it shows how easily others ignore it. The role of furniture brings up an unsettling aspect of Umineko. The way they are treated is normalized and routine, which is really disturbing, mind you. Furniture are not tragic because they serve, but because they are taught serving is the only thing is all they are allowed to be. I might reword that. Umineko poses this question: how many people live their entire lives believing the same thing? This could be a funny. Okay. Alright, I think this is good. I like it. We'll keep this short and sweet, doesn't need to be that crazy long. Long story short, I'm not trying to have a repeat of that Rosa video, because that Rosa video was like 40 minutes long. When it probably should have been like 20 minutes, but Rosa's a very complex character. This is just a different take on Umineko that a lot of people don't really talk about, that I've noticed. People don't really talk about the furniture like that. When they kind of do, but they kind of don't. I like introducing different angles to the videos. Okay, but I think this is good. So today's Tuesday. We did about 25 minutes worth of work. So Thursday we'll be doing more. Thursday we'll start the narrative because tomorrow's a Typhoon day. So anyways, take care. Have a good rest of your evening. I'll see people on Thursday. Bye-bye.